Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Bringing Recycling to Your Multifamily Complex webinar, and we'll get started here in about a minute for the 2 p.m. kickoff. And I will make a note to tell you that there are documents that are available in the documents section of the webinar. It's a PDF version of this presentation. It is also a recorded presentation, and that is sent out to those that registered and attended, as well as people who registered but weren't able to attend today. That is sent out within the next 24 hours. So and we'll get started here in just a minute. All right, thanks for joining us today. There's a few housekeeping things to go over with you. And one thing that I want to make a note of is there will be a follow-up email that goes out, and there'll be a survey there that's attached to it. Hopefully you'll take a few minutes and answer the questions and send that feedback back to us. Everyone is also on mute, and the only way to submit a question or talk to us is through that questions category. Feel free to also put information in the chat if you wish to network or add your contact information there for others who are on the call. The meeting is being recorded, and this is just a simple webinar format. It's not designed to be a deep dive, but really just share some basic information. And of course, if you're interested in getting more information or talking more explicitly about these topics, the services we provide here at SWACO are all free, and we're happy to set up a one-to-one meeting with you and go over that. When you're using the GoToWebinar, this is kind of a slide that helps with the location of where to find things. That's what the handout icon looks like. And now we're up to introductions, and I'm happy to be here today. My name is Sheila Davis. I'm the Business Program Administrator. I work with businesses in the commercial sector here in the county to implement recycling programs, help divert materials from the landfill that comes from the business sector. And one of the areas that I am working on to reach commercial businesses is the multifamily space. This would include apartment buildings owned by private individuals or companies in the larger property management groups that may own properties across Ohio or other states. And it also includes the condominium properties who may have a board made up of owners or a company that manages the complex. So the services that I provide to all of those would be free. So one of the things we're going to cover today, this is a basic meeting agenda just to keep things on track. I'll tell you a little bit about SWACO, the steps that you would need to take to implement recycling, and the free resources that we offer. So a little bit about SWACO. Stands for the Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio. If you're not familiar, we came into being in 1989 when the law in Ohio was passed. It was created to create solid waste districts. There are 52 districts across the state that service the 88 counties. Franklin County is SWACO's district. We're the only one in Ohio that also owns and operates a landfill, and we're right here in Grove City. We work to divert materials from the landfill to extend the life of the landfill, and our goal is to get to a 75% diversion rate by 2032. As you know, more waste is created every year, and as a community, residents and businesses alike, we're just creating this waste that keeps growing every year. And as more people are moving to Columbus, more waste is ending up in the landfill. And annually, this landfill receives about 1.1 million tons of material. And additionally, the Central Ohio region is expected to have a 3.5 million population growth over the next 20 to 30 years, making the need for safe disposal and waste diversion all the more crucial. And we only have one landfill, and lots of materials that could be recycled arrive at this landfill every day. There are about 40 years left of life left in the landfill today. But right here in Franklin County, we divert 51% of the materials that are coming. It's beating the national average, which is 34%. So we're doing great there. With SWACO's support, and our communities have been very successful in implementing curbside recycling programs throughout the county. So if you live in a single family home in the city of Columbus, I mean, the curbside recycling service just increased from every other week to weekly for residents there. But in all the other jurisdictions, we're definitely recycling when it comes to single family homes. So from a recent waste characterization study, it tells us the types of materials that are being thrown away at the landfill. The results showed that we're throwing away materials that could have been recovered through recycling or composting instead. And these materials include things such as food waste, recyclable items, and other recoverable materials that have the potential to be reused. So you may even be surprised to see that food waste and cardboard are the top two contributors by percentage, 15% for food waste, 10% for cardboard. We have really an amazing opportunity to increase recovery of these materials through increased access to recycling and education. So let's talk about the multifamily opportunity and how we can improve. In the 2020 US Census, for Franklin County, it estimated that 45% of households live in the multifamily complexes. And multifamily really is defined as 5 or more units. It's not a duplex, it's anybody that has 5 or more units. So that would be considered multifamily, could be a condo, apartment. 96% of single family homes already have curbside recycling. As I mentioned, we're doing great in that category, but there's an untapped significant portion of our population that doesn't have convenient recycling. And then we did a study in 2022, SWACO conducted a public opinion poll, and we do this public opinion poll on a regular basis. So the most recent one is from February 2020, and when we conducted that poll, we discovered that multifamily residents do want to recycle, but 1 in 4 indicate that there's a lack of on-site recycling, and that's their biggest barrier to reducing waste. And while we're doing great at curbside recycling in the county, less than half of residents living in multifamily housing with 5 units or more reported having access to recycling. So one of the single largest complaints that we hear when we are out in the public, we're doing outreach tabling events, is that residents in complexes just don't have recycling. They want to recycle, but there's no place to take their materials. So we're focusing on this multifamily space this year because we want to improve our numbers and improve the recycling that's taking place for apartment dwellers and condo owners. We know tenants want to recycle, and we know property managers can help deliver this amenity. So we have created resources and tools to help make it easier to recycle, and we're going to cover those resources and tools a little bit later in the presentation. So we are looking at addressing multifamily recycling in the county and as a multi-pronged approach. So one of the things that we recently did, SWACO joined the Columbus Apartment Association, and we joined the Community Association Institute just to connect directly with property managers and owners that are in this space. We've also been promoting the multifamily resources and information that's found on the swaco.org website to bring awareness to the available resources and help that's available for property owners. And we've also, like I mentioned, we have a new multifamily page on the swaco.org site that has great resources and links available to help people navigate adding recycling. So here is just a snapshot of the multifamily website. You can find that at swaco.org, and then there's a multifamily tab. And basically, we know that you know, when you get a chance to explore this page, there's lots of information there. And since we know that the large amount of material that's coming from the landfill is coming from the commercial sector, which apartments and complexes make up that. It's like 60% of the material coming to the landfill that could be recycled. It's coming from that sector. So that's another reason that we're interested in focusing on helping implement recycling. So here are the steps that we recommend property owners and property managers take to set up a multifamily recycling at their property. We want you to partner with your current hauler. First step would just be to determine, you know, how to bring this recycling to your complex. You would contact your trash hauler, who that your current hauler is, find out what services they offer. all haulers offer cardboard only collection, or cardboard, at least the cardboard can be collected. So if you have, say, for example, Bourne Brothers or Local Waste, they do offer cardboard collection. So you can simply increase recycling by offering a cardboard dumpster on site. Rumpke and Waste Management have, and also let me back up and say Bourne Brothers, Local Waste, and Republic all have cardboard only services. Waste Management and Rumpke provide additional recycling. They're able to capture a lot more material, paper, glass, aluminum cans, plastic, that sort of thing. So the first thing to do is just to figure out who your hauler is, make a phone call to them, talk to your rep there, figure out what it would cost for you to add a dumpster for recycling and what that might look like. So you get your head around those opportunities. If you discover that you really don't have any place on your property to have another dumpster, like the logistics, the infrastructure doesn't work, I just want to remind people that there are valet type of services that provide a pickup where you don't have to have a dumpster. The residents would just simply put their stuff out. The hauler stops by each location, or on it might be on your porch or however your property is set up. They on pickup day, they would pick up all the materials that are recyclable and take it directly to the recycling facility, so no dumpster on site would be needed. So I certainly can connect you to points of contact for all the haulers in the county. So if you're not sure who you should talk to, I'm happy to, make the introduction for you and help you navigate that conversation. So once you have had that conversation, then we want you definitely to engage with us, because we offer the free educational kits, the toolkits that are delivered to each resident's door. It's not delivered to your office. We put one on every single door. We climb the steps. If you're a 3-story facility, every door gets a kit. We work with our vendor partners to make sure that that information is delivered, and it's also placed within 7 days of your recycling program starting. And then an important step to take after that is the launch of your recycling program, which, there's communications that need to go out. We can help you draft that announcement. And we also have a tool that allows you to provide directional signage to like where the dumpster might be located on the property, because maybe it's located in a far corner and residents would need to know how to get there to take their materials. So we have free resources for the property manager as well. So let's talk about those tools, the Property Manager Toolkit and the Resident Education Toolkit. So the Resident Education Toolkit, it includes a wipeable, reusable tote. It's about the size of a large Panera Bread catering takeout bag, if you've ever ordered a bunch of meals from Panera, those big bags that come in. It's designed to be washable, wipe it down, so materials can be collected in your apartment, and then you take the bag with you to the dumpster to empty it loosely into the collection place. It also includes a recycling cling. So the cling is, so you peel it off and it can attach to a cabinet, surface, refrigerator. It's not just a magnet that's only used on the refrigerator. You can place it directly on the bag if you wanted. It definitely can be used in a more versatile way than a magnet. This example here in the picture happens to be very personalized. It says, hello, Columbus resident. The clings that we provide do not have a specific call out for your community or your property. This is just a more close-up of materials. If you have Rumpke or Waste Management as a trash hauler and you sign up for a recycling service with them, these are the materials that would be accepted in that recycling program on site. These materials are all recyclable. Some, if you happen to just have a cardboard only service, residents could still collect milk jugs and water bottles and aerosol cans. They could still collect that stuff. They would just have to take it to the SWACO drop box. There's about 50 different locations throughout the city where we have some drop box that's available for collecting recycling. I'll tell you more about that also in a little bit later. The resident education toolkit also includes what we're calling a 1, 2, 3 instructional sheet. It just identifies like frequently asked questions and what happens to materials and help people understand, why it's important to recycle. Some people often say recycling doesn't pay or my recycling just goes to the landfill. Well, in Franklin County, that's not true. We actually do really well. As I mentioned, we're at 51%, but Rumpke is building the largest recycling or it's material recovery facility in the North America. It'll be open over there in the Milo Grogan neighborhood next year. So I believe it's a $90 million investment. So they certainly wouldn't invest that kind of money in recycling if it didn't pay. So it's really important that we do our best to recycle right, capture materials. Businesses want to produce products that are made with post-consumer materials. They all have different goals. Anheuser-Busch has a glass goal, and Procter & Gamble has a plastic recycling content goal that they want to make their products out of. But that only happens when the consumers recycle the products when they're done using them. As I mentioned before, kits are deployed by SWACO vendor partners directly to the resident store, and we do that within 7 days. So if your dumpster is being delivered on a Friday, then we would deliver kits starting the day before, that Friday, or the following Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. The property manager toolkit, it is made up of several different items. These things are items we would loan to you for 30 days. We bring them out, we set them up, and we keep track, and then we take them away. They're signage that would help with education, as well as directional signage, based on where your dumpster is to help residents figure out where to find them. And there's also a vinyl banner that could go either staked on the ground near to where that collection site is or on the enclosure. We have indoor items as well. The indoor parts of the property manager toolkit, we have posters. These ones here in the picture are showed in a black frame. They don't come with a frame. They're just items that could be posted in your mailroom or your gym space or your office. They're kind of versatile. We do not loan those. They're yours to keep. We'll leave them with you. It's good information. There's a set of 3 that makes up the toolkit. We do have a nice banner that it's a vertical banner that's good for your lobby in your leasing space to let residents know that you're now a recycling community. So that's something that we also can loan for you. And so we also have, basically a flyer that's getting ready to be sent out, be more popular as far as mailings or things like that. But the question that we have that we're asking people to ask themselves is, do you have recycling service? So if you do have recycling service, this is great, and we want to support you. Maybe you have a cardboard only service, and maybe your residents are contaminating that by putting other materials that could be recycled, but they're putting it with the cardboard, which it needs to go in this needs to be cardboard only. Reach out to us, let us help. We'll figure out what the right recycling education will be, help your residents know where the other public drop-off boxes are so that they can take the other materials that they want to recycle to those, and then we can help you navigate that. If you don't have recycling services, obviously we want you to make those contacts to your private haulers or get quotes from your valet type of service, and then talk with us once you have that set up, and we'll be happy to initiate the recycling education, bring out the toolkits that are needed to help launch your program. So what can you, a property owner, do? Well, we want you to reach out to us for support, as I said before, because it's free. It's like free consulting services. Happy to help everybody. You could send an email to biz@swaco.org, introduce us to your property company director or a decision maker that we could follow up directly with in case you're on the call and you're not the decision maker. You could invite your manager or colleagues to visit the multifamily page. There is a survey on that page that allows us to interact with each property and ask some basic questions so we can help determine just how to better serve you. You could also invite your colleagues or upper management to attend the next webinar on this topic, which is September 13th. If you're on the call and you're just a resident and you're wondering what you could do, maybe you don't have any decision-making information or decision-making authority, you could share this information that's provided today with your property manager. Again, you could send us an email, introduce us to your property manager or the board president of your condo association or anybody who would be interested in getting more information. You can invite them to visit the SWACO multifamily landing page. Again, attend our webinar on the 13th. You could also, you could also start using the public drop locations that SWACO offers around the county. And they can be found at the recycleright.org website. There's a search tool there. You put your address in, and it will tell you where the nearest drop location is located. So as we wind down this presentation, I want to redirect and to share that recycling is worth doing. So in Central Ohio, it's over $1 billion in annual revenue. If you get pushback on the topic of recycling, where possibly you hear it isn't worth it, again, bring up the conversation about this new state-of-the-art multi-processing facility that's being developed right here in Columbus. It's worth the investment. And we know that companies also have those pledges to create products, so the consumers need to be returning materials to be recycled so that those commitments can be fulfilled. In Central Ohio, the recycling industry supports 372 businesses, 5,000 employees, totaling $1.3 billion in annual revenue. And by diverting the materials from the landfill, we add years to the landfill. As I said before, right now there's about 40 years of life left in the Franklin County Sanitary Landfill, and then it'll be out of space. So making changes today is definitely going to impact our future. Now I'm going to look for questions, which if you do have a question, you can put it in the questions section. And if you happen to not have a question now, but maybe you think you might have one later, feel free to send that email to biz@swaco.org. I'm happy to answer one-on-one with you. So I know that this is supposed to be a 30-minute presentation. I tend to talk fast. So we have about 7 or 8 minutes left that I can get back to you if there aren't any questions. I appreciate everyone being on the webinar today and look forward to helping you navigate adding recycling to your facility. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.